Yo. Thank you for joining us, everyone. This is the K&Q channel. And listen, we're going to be reviewing another video from Austin Holloman's channel. And he is interviewing one of his friends, an older brother, a guy who's in his 50s. And you've seen the title of this video. The title of the video is 50-year-old plus black men have better mental health and experience less racism in Nairobi, Kenya, Africa. That's the title of the video. And to be honest with you, that's been the thrust of this channel for quite a long time now. Where on earth can black men who live in the West find better levels of mental health, or at least an environment where we can experience a better standard, a better quality of mental health? Living in the West, those of you that don't know, the Mind mental health charity here in the UK have on their website, and go and check it out if you don't believe me. They've done research, and they've got the headlines from the research on their website that basically says black men in the West, black men living in the West, experience higher levels of mental ill health than any white population, than any white host population. So, for example, in the UK, black men that live in the UK experience higher levels of mental ill health than the host white population. However, black people that live in black countries, i.e. in the Caribbean or the African continent, experience the same levels of mental ill health as white people do in white countries. The website goes on to say, this is the Mind mental health charity website, goes on to say, so I'm paraphrasing, goes on to say something like, so there's something about living in white countries that drives black people crazy. Now, they don't use those words. Those are my words, but basically, I'm paraphrasing. That's what it says. So what I have decided to focus on is where on planet Earth can black men experience decent levels of mental health, lower levels of racism, legacy. Where can we find legacy? Where can we put our time and effort where it's actually appreciated? And so for me, I'm focusing on I've decided to focus on the African continent. Now, you may focus on Asia, South America, and that's absolutely fine by me. I do capoeira, never been to Brazil, will travel to Brazil, hopefully next year. I mean, that's definitely on my list. But basically, I have decided to focus on the African continent. I've already been looking at Ghana for quite a long time. I've looked at Nigeria in terms of buying and selling property. I've looked at Kenya a lot, and I'm going to continue to focus in on Kenya because you've got some brilliant brothers in Kenya at the moment. This is one of them. You can see him on the screen. He's around about my age, bit grayer than me, although I cut mine off. And he's a bit of a portly fellow, but he's had the good fortune to be living in Kenya for, I think he says, the last 10 years. So he's been experiencing that lovely place for the last 10 years. I don't know what this guy's background is, but I've heard him in a previous interview or discussion with Kid Greatness, Austin Holloman, and another brother, and this guy. And clearly he's an experienced brother. He's done a whole load of stuff in Kenya. He's a man of many talents, and he wears a lot of different hats and all the rest of it. Clearly a Renaissance man. This guy. He's got an amazing apartment. In a previous video, Austin Holloman gets this brother to show him around his apartment. So he lives really, really well in Kenya. All right. So he's a brilliant guy to interview. Austin Holloman's doing the interview. This video is on Austin Holloman's channel. I'll put a link in the title of this video so you can go and give Austin Holloman a sub. Right, and go and check out Austin's channel, because he's a young guy. I think Austin's only 25, right? But really, what I love about the last set of videos he's been doing while he's been in East Africa is that effectively he is clearly showing men, not just African American men, but black men who live in the West. He's showing us And these are for us black guys that do not know. And the truth is, I know a lot of black guys, African guys, West African guys, a couple of East African guys, but mainly Ghanaian guys, Nigerian guys who really go and come from the African continent regularly and have done for years. But I'm new to it. I'm new to it. I'm not going to lie. I'm new to it. I mean, I've been, me and the wife have been to Ghana a few times. I mean, I did visit Egypt, I don't know, literally 30 years ago, but that was only for a week. And then I went again in 2003. And again, that was only for a couple of weeks. I went a couple of years after that to Morocco. And that was great, but that was only for a few days. So it's only recently that, when I say recently, I think within about 5-6 years, that Africa has been a real alternative to living in the UK. And God knows why it's been taken me this long to see Africa as a alternative to living in the UK. Because to be quite honest with you, it dawned on me, I suppose about 2 years ago, I just suddenly thought, you know what? We can be beating ourselves up a lot as black guys, right? Fighting racism, living on our own, acting as lone wolves with no families, with our wives putting us through divorce, not being able to see our kids, basically living a solitary life in the UK. For what? But what are we looking to gain doing that? Seriously, we can do that and earn money, earn a lot of money, earn good money, but the bills and the cost of living is so high that it almost cancels itself out. We can do that. We can stay on that treadmill for, or at least until the day we die, or we can say, you know what? This juice isn't worth the squeeze at all. This juice isn't worth the squeeze. And we could pack our bags. We could keep our properties here in the UK rented out. I mean, I've got a few properties in the UK. We could keep our properties here rented out, and then we can sod off to Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, Uganda, Zambia. Next week, I'm going to be interviewing a sister on the channel. I was actually meant to do it this week, but she's been ill. Her and her husband have been ill. So hopefully she's going to be better next week. She's living in Zambia, and I've got another friend who lives in Zambia as well. So those two are going to be on the podcast next week, next Saturday. Right. So we can either stay living in our little corner of the West, taking the crumbs from the master's table. We can aspire ourselves to be masters in the West, and that's fine. Or we can say, you know what? I'm going to go somewhere where it's a proven fact that people with my hue experience better levels of mental health, where the quality of life is better, where I'm not walking somewhere and I've got to be continually looking over my shoulder, where people like me are actually valued, and where, I can meet a woman who doesn't just want to get married, she actually wants to stay married. This is not to say that all women on the African continent are perfect, because trust me, they're far from that, right? But, honestly, and this isn't to say that women there don't want you for your money, but they want you for your money everywhere. If you're a man, black, white, Chinese or Arab or whatever, women want you for your money everywhere. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that. It's what you get in return that I'm bothered about, right? It's what you get in return. So, I've decided to focus squarely on the African continent. I've had friends I've got one Nigerian friend years ago. It's interesting because he told me, I asked him, what country does your wife come from? He said Kenya, and never clocked on, and he said it with a smile. I did think, so why didn't you you always doing business in Nigeria? Because he's a financial advisor. He puts together financial packages for rich Nigerians. So he's always traveling backwards and forwards to Nigeria. So I did think to myself, why didn't you get a wife a Nigerian wife? But then, the thought passes, right? but now I know why. Right? And this isn't to knock Nigerian women. I think Nigerian women are gorgeous. And I've done streams on Nigerian women, and I will continue to, not just on Nigerian women, but Nigerian property and all the rest of it. Relationships do come into it. If you're a man and you're gonna relocate to another country and you're unmarried, you will be looking to see how you can plug in to the ladies in that country. That's just normal if you're a heterosexual man, right? That's just completely normal. So I say all that to say that this stream is about Austin Holloman doing a brilliant interview with a man my age. And I thought that's why I really wanted to focus on it, because this brother is my age. In fact, I'm older than this guy. I think he's in his early 50s. No, sorry, he's 3 years older than me. He's 59, I'm 56. So, it's brilliant to listen to why he's decided to spend what might be the rest of his what might be the rest of his years in Kenya, and hearing his take on it. Because guys, if you're living in the UK, not just the UK, but the States as well, listen, I'm trying to encourage you to think of yourself as a global man. You could think of yourself as a passport bro, that's fine, but just widen your perspective as to what's possible and where we can exist on planet Earth and be seen and valued as men. This is important. This is so important. It's really important that we don't have to live life the rest of our lives as guys, men living in the West, just eating crumbs from the table. We don't have to live like that. We don't, and it's not about how much you earn, because some people are going to listen to this and think, oh, those guys don't earn no money. No, it's not. I earn good money. I earn very good money. And I've got great assets. I've got brilliant assets, but it's not necessarily just about money. It's about life. It's about being able to walk down the road and not feel that heightened sense of basically being able to breathe. That's really what this is all about. That's what I'm taking from this stream that we're going to review now. So subscribe to the channel, hit the bell if you've not done so already, so you get notifications every time I go live. Right? Okay, cool. All right, let's get into this. And I'm going to be stopping it. I'm playing it at 1.5 speed so that we can get through it without YouTube stopping it and all that nonsense. And I'm going to be stopping it from time to time so that we can talk about the what the brother's saying. Okay, and I'm not starting at the very, very beginning. It's an interesting stream because he's talking about what it's really like, not dressing it up. He's actually talking about what life is like living in Nairobi, Kenya. Okay, so here we go, and also investments and all the rest of it. Okay,
an answer, an obvious answer. You give Kenya the biggest plus for security when it comes between them and South Africa.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Like the worst I've ever heard of anything ever happening to anybody is getting their phone stolen here.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the worst that's ever happened to me. It was just my dumb ass in the back of a cab one night, window down, on social media, not paying attention, and somebody reached in, grabbed my phone. By the time I even realized that Joe was going, I was like, oh shit, somebody's trying to take my phone.
I just want to say that those that don't know, London is the phone snatching capital of the world. I don't know what it's like in any other country, but I know for a fact that in London, central London especially, you got a lot of little kids, literally a whole heap of little kids that basically just run around, walk around. They're on scooters, they're on mopeds, and they're snatching phones all day long, right? So it does not surprise me that in other capitals on planet Earth, you got people going around snatching phones and just running off. And if it happens at nighttime, if you're a tourist, they know the area. I know central London like the back of my hand, literally, because when we were kids from the age of 11 years old, we used to go up Covent Garden and break dance, spin on our heads and all that kind of stuff, right? In Covent Garden, central London. And we just learned the West End, literally, we learned every nook and cranny. So if we decided to do any foolishness, which we didn't, right, then, if you're a tourist, they've got your phone and they're gone. So, yeah, anyway.
Had the Uber stop and dude just disappeared in the night. So that was just out of my ignorance, and I shouldn't have had my window rolled all the way down. That's the worst.
You live and learn.
Joburg, I've had friends getting fights. I've had friends that have been robbed by gunpoint, almost like the same shit that happens in the States.
And by the way, what this stream's all about, you can see the title there. So basically, Austin Holloman is asking this brother, is Kenya a better option than South Africa? But I am not bothered about the South Africa bit. I'm not bothered about the comparison. I'm really only bothered about what he says about Kenya. That's all I'm really bothered about.
Happens there. Nairobi, there's very few guns on the street. And I love that. There, lots of guns on the streets.
Okay, so do you think the people there more here are more?
And I'm going to be honest, I don't want to live anywhere where there's guns on the street. I know that you Americans that are going to watch this, I know that you're used to having guns and all the rest of it. I've got two brothers living in the States. I'm pretty sure they haven't got guns, but I know a lot of you brothers are going to be used to having guns and all that, not all that stuff. But nah, in the UK, we didn't grow up with people carrying guns. It's a lot more common now. You've got a whole heap of little kids carrying guns and making trouble now, right? God knows where they're getting the guns from. But now we didn't grow up carrying guns. So now I don't want to live anywhere where there's guns. Nowhere.
More hospitable compared to South Africa. Like, do you find the people in South Africa to be kind of westernized where they're a little cold and slightly rude? Or
I've never experienced any type of rudeness. But what I will say is, and I'm gonna just be real blunt, I think they have more of a lasting effect of colonization to their mentality, where they still dealing with a lot of things, tribally, amongst different tribes, xenophobia, and I don't blame them. I blame the system that they were under, which was wretched. It was freaking horrible, and they were under that system for a very long time.
About South Africa, but it's the same as
they created a whole system of, divide and conquer, so that they could be controlled, and I always look at that. I always look at the reason why people are a certain way. I never just look at them and be like, oh, that's fucked up that they're this way. Yeah, they got problems. They're not. Why? Why is there xenophobia there? Why, is there just, you can feel that there's, just some issues.
All that is a side issue to really what I want to focus on. But it's important to, as far as I'm concerned anyway, it's important to understand the history of where you're going, guys. So if you're looking to emigrate to another country, as far as I am concerned, whether it's Kenya, South Africa, Ghana, any part of the African continent, you may consider Ethiopia, wherever you're going to consider going, in my opinion, you really want to know the history. If it's the African continent, it's going to be the quite recent colonial history of that country, so that you can understand why people are the way they are. Yeah, but anyway,
I find here it's just less of that.
You find the environment in South Africa to be more tense.
It's a dope spot. It's cool. You just got to be on your guard more. I was mentioning to you earlier, like here, I can run at 75%. I don't have to always feel like shit. Like I did it when I lived in New York or Philly or DC or Atlanta or LA. Places where I lived at. Where I felt like, you just got to keep, I tell this to younger folks all the time, my kids, like, I don't care if you're at the White House, always keep one eye open. Keep that hood eye open at all times, because shit can jump off anywhere. Here, I got my hood eye open, but it's relaxed.
The eye.
Everywhere I
go, common sense.
Yeah, it's just relaxed a little bit.
I've got to say something about that. You see, when you grow up in the city, I grew up in a council estate in London, right? He's right, and it takes. You see, you grow up in a whether it be in America, a project in some ghetto area in the Caribbean, or a council estate in the UK. It takes a long time. It takes you grow up with a heightened. I don't know what it is. Your cortisol levels are are heightened to a point that's actually detrimental to your sanity. To be quite honest with you, you're living. You've learned to live. Your normal is war mode. Does that make sense? That is your normal. So, and it's bad for your mental health. It's bad. So, just move into a place where you where the environment doesn't warrant you living as if you're in a war zone, that it takes a long time for your stress levels, your cortisol levels, your all of that to lower. It takes years actually, and that's good for your mental health, good for your life, the length of your life and all of that. But it's crazy. And I remember me and the wife walking around in Ghana and I'm just feeling at peace, and just thinking, wow, just felt at complete peace. I can't remember and not say I've not felt that in London in the summer, in the park, walking around by the River Thames, all of that sort of stuff, because I have, but not quite the same, But yeah.
There, my hood eyes open like I'm in New York.
So you said that the cost of living is a lot more
it's cheaper.
expensive here.
Yeah, it's cheaper. I mean, it's more expensive here in Kenya. Yeah,
But the trade-off is better being here.
I would just always say Kenya is quality of life.
Mm.
Like, it's just the vibe, the energy, the safety, the people, how things work here. Electrics on, waterworks, Wi-Fi's everywhere, dope hotels everywhere, dope Airbnbs everywhere, dope clubs everywhere, dope restaurants everywhere, dope lounges being open damn near once a week.
Really?
It's just easy living here, quality of life. And as you get older, and your fans are 40, I'd say 45 plus, which you do have a nice amount of them, understand quality of life and understand sometimes you don't have to chase the dollar. It's better to have a quality of life than chasing the dollar somewhere where you're making more, but you're spending more. The quality of life is just not comparable.
That's right.
I want to ask you a question too, because
that's right. So it's all about the quality of life, guys. All about the quality of life. And this is why I'm actually trying to convince everyone who's subscribed to the channel, all the guys that are subscribed to the channel, to understand that, to see yourself as a global man. Global. Your world is not just limited to your tiny corner of the West. You can see yourself as a global man, basically. This is really important in order to experience the best quality of life that's out there for you. You've got to basically just raise your eyes up and let go. Learn to let go, man. This is important stuff. Learn to let go, and it might be, if you're really comfortable where you are, that is absolutely fine, but don't count out other places. Don't.
A lot of people have been trying to book consultations with me, and they hear me say, "Oh, my rent is $850, or I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Upper Hill for $670 a month." And I say that's with a lease. But if you're doing like a 1 month, 2 month short-term stay, it's usually like 4 times the price.
More. Yeah.
Some people, I don't know why. I swear, I don't care how clearly I explain this. I say, hey, like, if you come to Kenya, you can survive off of $1,200 a month, or maybe even $1,000. And they think that they can pretty much go out to eat, grocery shop, pay rent, and have their girlfriend live with them, and catch Ubers and have a gym membership on $1,000 a month.
Nah, that's not happening.
That's not happening. Surviving means if your income stops, you won't be starving, but you won't be doing anything either. You won't be sitting. You wouldn't even be sitting on this rooftop. Right. You would just be in the house praying to God that your income comes back.
I like to compare Nairobi,
rooftop.
And I say cost of living, not quality of life. Cost of living.
That is a rooftop.
Quality of life.
I've never noticed that.
But maybe in between, like Raleigh and Charlotte, like the cost of living is probably somewhere in between there. So it's not dirt cheap, and it's not cheap.
The bottom line is,
it's not like crazy for.
The bottom line is, if you're looking to emigrate to any other country, right, you've got to do your homework, got to do your maths, got to do your due diligence. You've got to understand what the cost of living is in the country where you're looking to emigrate to, right? So recce's, right? Couple of holidays, move around the country, get off the tourist map. In fact, first holiday might be just to get all the touristy things out of the way, in the case of Kenya, that might be a safari. Was it climb up? Is it Mount Kilimanjaro? Is that the wrong country? No, it's either way. Visit the Rift Valley. Mount Kilimanjaro. That might be a different country, right? Don't quote me on that. But see the Rift Valley. See the lakes. Do all of that touristy stuff. Maybe on holiday number 1. Holiday number 2 might be just to simply just stay in Nairobi or stay in Mombasa, do the beaches and all that, right? And this is from someone who's never been. What I've done basically, if you've been watching my channel, I've explored Nairobi on Google Map, right? That's basically what I've done, which is what you should do, right? Explore. You can explore. You'd be surprised at how much of a country you can actually simply explore on Google Map, just on the internet. You can explore pretty much a whole country on Google Earth. You can explore a country. Look at the videos. Look at other YouTube channels. Look at the cost of property to rent and to buy. I've got loads of videos on my channel whereby I examine buying property in Ghana, but also in Kenya as well, right? So, check out my other videos. I've been looking at studio apartments and 1-bed apartments in Kenya, right? So definitely check out my other videos. But, the bottom line is do your homework, right? Regarding the cost of living.
Freaking expensive, but still you feel it when you pay for things. The things that I find here that are way more cheaper than in the States is services. So if you want somebody who's going to cook and clean for you 5 days a week, that's anywhere between $200, $300 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have somebody 5 days a week literally cooking and cleaning for you every day, and they do a damn good job. And as you know, they're very thorough.
Interesting.
Things that they be wanting to watch, you'd be like, no, that's okay, I can do that.
So I don't know if I caught that right. I think he's saying 500. Because in Kenya, they use the shilling, right? So he's saying 500 USD a month. I think he's talking about how much that will cost to have someone cooking for you per month in Kenya. If that's the case, then that is only about £375. That's about 375 English pounds. So for 375 English pounds, if you're a single guy, you can have someone basically just cooking all your food for you. Obviously, you've got to buy the food as well. So I don't know, say for £500, right? You've got all your food. Right? You don't have to cook. And then just hire a cleaner to come in and clean, I don't know, once a week. So wash your clothes, clean your place once a week. You're like, that's like having a wife. Sorry, because my wife's going to want me to pay her that now, so I better move on.
Like, you don't have to clean my sneakers every day, every time I come in. But service here is really good. Or if you have to pay someone to be your assistant or to do things for you, things of that nature, it's not as expensive as it would cost if you lived in the States. But when you're talking about rent, buying bottles, still cheaper than if you were buying bottles in the States. Yeah. But still, $75 to $100 for a bottle, depending upon what you're drinking, it's still $75 to $100 a bottle. Yeah. And if you go out for a date, like whether or not it's a business meeting with one person or a date,
how much?
Average for me is, if we're not drinking, 6,000. If we are drinking,
6,000 shillings,
10K. Which is basically, if it's 6,000, that's $40. Mm-hmm. 10K is like $75. Mm-hmm. Whereas
so 40 USD is about £30, right? So yeah, that's cheap. I mean, that is what it would cost to eat for 2 people in London about, I would say, about 10 years ago. That's what it would, and I remember, right? That would be like a set meal in London, say in Brixton. Yeah, about 10 years ago, man. About 10 years ago, probably more than 10 years ago. Yeah, more like about 12 years ago. Yeah, that's about, so if you can eat for that in Kenya, then you're doing well. You're doing all right.
in the States, everywhere I go, if there's 2 people, you starting at 100.
Yeah, no drinks.
And they know it's just 100 to 150 to $200, easy.
Yeah.
Anytime you go out, you know.
Let me ask you this question too, because some people like to leave comments about like, oh, there's $1,000 is more than enough living in Nairobi. Tell them what their lifestyle day by day, what limitations. Like, I want you to tell them how many dates they're gonna go on a week.
Listen, $1,000 ain't gonna get it here if you want to flow.
Yeah.
Like if you want to flow and feel comfortable and not be like when your date has the menu, you just sitting there like hoping she only orders one thing. She don't order appetizers and drinks and all that kind of stuff. You just like, you don't want to live like that.
Yeah.
Like, why? Don't even come if you want to be counting your pennies like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's because it's gonna be stressful. And who wants to come here and be stressful? You know, your place. I mean, you can find.
And that's a good point. Listen, in my opinion, if you're looking to emigrate to another country, what you actually want to be able to live better there than you are where you're leaving. Does that make sense? There's no point, in my opinion, going to another country. If you're leaving the West, there's no point leaving the West to go and live anywhere else worse. Yeah, you actually should be looking to go somewhere and live better. But that's just my personal opinion.
Spot, you know, 500, 400, 300. Shit, you can find a spot for $200 a month here.
But where you gonna be living at?
But it ain't gonna be fly and sexy.
No.
It's just not. It's just not gonna be fly and sexy. It's not gonna be what you may be used to in the States.
A month.
You know, and in Ubers, everything's like on your phone here. So a lot of times you're paying for stuff and you really don't feel it because everything's on your phone. You don't even really take out your card. Like I don't even use my cards here. I use M-Pesa. You know, so I'm always paying with everything with my phone. So you don't even really feel it. And then you look around and you look at your bank account and you're like, oh shit, how am I gonna make it through next week?
Yeah.
Because you just went on 2 dates.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be in that situation. So don't come here. Please don't come here like, yo, $1,000 a month. I'm gonna have a great time. No.
Yeah, I would say you can survive if you're living here.
Yes.
Off of $2,500 a month. There should be no Americans complaining about that because at $2,500 a month, you're on food stamps in the States.
$2,500 a month. I'm trying to convert it all into pounds. And I know that, you know, I've heard BGS say, you Brits, you map your whole life. You shouldn't map your whole life onto the American experience. I don't think that's what we're doing here. I think what we're doing here is using these, you know, African-American guys' experiences for us guys in the UK. But the truth is, I know that I've got subscribers really from all over the world. You know, I've looked at, you know, you can check where people are subscribing from. I've got subscribers from all over the States, all over the UK, and all over Europe and all over the place, even all over the African continent, right? Because of the types of streams I'm doing, right? So, so this is really for any man, any black guy, especially in particular, who's looking to emigrate. So yeah, you know, that's really what it's all about. But yeah, that conversion. Let's listen to what he's saying.
You're not living. I don't know anybody that can live alone anywhere in the States for $2,500 a month.
Yeah, that was it. So $2,500. That's about £2,000. That's about £2,000. So as long as you've got 2,000, you know, it might be so, you know, if you're this guy's age, you know, you may have retired early, so you may have a little bit of a pension coming in, right? Not that doesn't mean that you're old. You just might have retired at the age of 50. You know what? You know, my older brother, who was anyway, it doesn't matter what he did, but he retired early, in his very, very early 50s, on a very good pension. So, I mean, he's been married for about 30 plus, I don't know, God, a long time. Right. So, and they're not looking to move anywhere at all. Having said that, him and his wife did visit Ghana very recently and they absolutely loved it. They're looking to go back. But the point is, £2,000, you know, you could literally, that could be your pension, a couple of property investments in the UK or anywhere you are. And you could take all of that and go to Kenya and you wouldn't even have to work. Right, so you'd be able to you would have a bare minimum income from your assets and whatever investments in your pension, all the rest of it from whatever country you're coming from. And if you did want to, I don't know, set up a business or whatever it was, you could do that too. We're going to have I'm going to do a stream with another one of Austin Holloman's guests where he did an interview with a guy who's only just come, who's looking to start a business, all right? So that's really worthwhile looking at. So you could have income from whatever country you're coming from and also look to set up a business in Kenya or any other African country where you're looking to live, all right? So really, you know, that's really what we're talking about. That's really what we're talking about.
Your rent would have to be $400 or something like that to make it back. But if you're coming for your first trip, I think you should have at least $2,000 for a month to get the spot that you really want. At least a short-term 1 month stay, and you should probably come with, let's say, 3,000 to 4,000 to spend. Some people like say, "Oh, I'm not gonna do too much." I call bullshit on that. I would never go to a new country and sit in the house,
and especially Kenya,
for a month.
And you have the coast. You have to go. Like, you can't come to Kenya without going to the coast. Like you just can't. You're messing up your whole trip. And you want to do a safari. Like that's the part of Kenya. Like the safaris. Like, you got to do
number one.
And them joints ain't cheap. You know. So. And you want to go to nice restaurants and go to places like Mwimbi and stuff like that, where you want to definitely spend, $75, $100.
Hold on.
Let's
do that again.
So, and you want to go to nice restaurants and go to places like Mwimbi and stuff like that, where you want to definitely spend, $75, $100. If you want to have a good time, $150 if you got a date. You're just going to want to feel relaxed, and you're going to want to do those things. And then there are going to be events and concerts and festivals, and those tickets are like anywhere in between, if you want VIP, $30 to $50, or VVIP could be $75 to $100, which is still cheaper than what you would pay in the States.
But that's 10% of your budget.
That's $75 to $100 is $75 to $100. Yeah. And then you're gonna be eating and drinking there. So you don't want to come. I hate people who travel and they tight.
Yeah, because you should be traveling to improve your life, whether there's dating options, getting away from racism, getting to a safer environment, getting into whether you want, or cost of living, or building a better social circle. Why would you go somewhere with $1,000 a month where you're going to limit yourself?
That's crazy. So let's hear that little thing that Austin just said, because that is why I'm doing the stream. Let's listen.
Get into whether you want, or cost of living, or building a better social.
I hate people who travel.
Listen to what Austin said.
Tight.
Yeah, because you should be traveling to improve your life, whether there's dating options, getting away from racism, getting to a safer environment, getting into whether you want, or cost of living.
Right. You should be looking to listen. You are looking to. We are doing the stream, guys. Right. Because it's the whole idea of looking to improve your life. He said dating options. I'm saying finding a woman who wants to stay married, not just get married. Yeah. It could be safety. Get away from racism. Let's face it, we're living with that, whether it's at work or on the street or some other, it could be microaggressions or macroaggressions. We're living with racism. We're born into the system. We're born into that system, right? I'm not saying that a global system of racism, white supremacy doesn't exist, because it does, but at least it's not being pushed in their faces. It's pushed in our face. Let's be honest about it. So the only thing he didn't mention was moving somewhere that's better for our mental health. Everything he said that he mentioned adds up to better mental health. Let's be clear about it, right? If you've moved to an environment that has everything Austin Holloman just said, right? Let's play it again. That adds up to better mental health. Let's listen to that again.
And they tight.
Yeah, because you should be traveling to improve your life, whether there's dating options, getting away from racism, getting to a safer environment, getting into whether you want, or cost of living, or building a better social circle. Why would you go somewhere with $1,000?
All of that equals better mental health.
$1,000 a month where you're going to limit yourself. I mean, okay, $1,000 a month. Scratch dating off the list. Scratch that off the list. Social circle. Scratch. Really, all you got is cost of living. You can't enjoy the weather because you're going to be stuck at whatever work you're doing to get that $1,000 a month. I mean, what are you really going to do? So. I don't know, but
Nairobi's not cheap, but then it's not going to hit you over the head either. And I just tell that to everybody. It's, don't just think, I'm going to Africa, everything's going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Ooh, Africa.
Nah. Yeah, try getting something imported. Yeah, try ordering face wash. But
exactly.
Yeah, but let's say you want to get away from racism.
So basically, what Austin Holloman just alluded to, some Western things, products, face wash, whatever it might be, some of those things you're just going to have to find an alternative, or just wait until people come from the West, or until when you visit, right? So that's just the way it is. You're just gonna have to find an alternative product. That's the trade-off, right? You bring it with you, or you ask friends to bring it, or you find a alternative.
Would you have a better shot at getting the rate, which we know the answer? Which country is better to get away from that and have more of a peace of mind when it comes to race?
Nairobi.
Yeah.
Kenya.
Wow. Wow.
Shoot, I've been here 10 years. I've heard of like little things that might happen in certain places. Like there's a club, Alchemist, a couple years, I think it was right before COVID or right after COVID, where they had kind of like a little racial issue. But only one time in 10 years have I seen actual racism. And that was, maybe about 8 years ago. I was at this club called Treehouse. It's no longer.
And let's face it, right? How often do we, living in the West, whether that's in the States or the UK, or worse in France, or worse in Italy, or worse in Eastern Europe, if you're a black guy and stupid enough to visit one of them countries, how often do we see it more often than not experience overt or covert racism? It's bad for your mental health. Racism is probably the biggest single factor for poor mental ill health in black people. That's the truth. Just have to be honest about it.
Here anymore. And Sauti Soul was performing. By the way, Sauti Soul, the best band in the entire freaking world. We can talk about that later. Look them up. And I was downstairs waiting to go into the bathroom. And this drunk white chick comes out and she bumps into a guy. I saw everything happen. She bumped into him. And then she turns around and she goes, "Say you're fucking sorry." And he looked at her like, "What? You bumped into me?" And then she's like, "You fucking nigger." And she said that shit loud as fuck.
Whoa.
So it was like 50 people downstairs and they were all black. It was just her. So I'm standing there like, okay, how Kenyans going to treat this shit, this nigga shit? Like, no one said anything. I was like, what the fuck? He didn't even say anything. I was like, whoa. I was like, watch your fucking mouth. And then her man comes out the bathroom. He sees the commotion. And then he grabs her. And he's like, oh, no. She's just drunk. Don't worry about her. And I never use the B word. Like, never use it. Like, never. Maybe if I'm playing around with some of my boys and be like, oh, you B. You know, but I never use B word towards women. But that night, that shit came out of my mouth because I was pissed as fuck. And I was like, yo, you need to check your bitch. Like, check her. Because that's some bullshit. He's like, oh, no, it's okay. And he was like grabbing her, trying to get her out the way and take her upstairs. But I was looking at everybody like, yo, I mean, y'all was colonized. Like, you know, the white folks was doing some fucked up shit to y'all back in the day, to your grandparents and stuff like that. Like the same shit they was doing to us. Like, but I don't think the nigga word here carries as much weight. Because you know if that shit would happen in the States. 50 people would have jumped on her ass. Even though she was a woman, men would have hit her, women would have hit her. Like she would have gotten her ass beat up. You know, but it just, the N word here just don't have that effect to black folks here. I don't think.
It doesn't. I realize that. We realize that in Ghana, right? Whereby I remember I was doing a project with a load of young people, and I can't remember how it came up, but I think I said something. I asked them a question. Is a room full of young people, kids under 15s, 14, 13-year-olds, and I said to them, something like, "What color are you?" And they all said chocolate. Right, and they're completely correct. You know, we're not black. We're actually more the color of dark chocolate, right? But that stuck with me, that they don't understand or have got no need for the word political black. It's only us living in the children of the kidnapped people living in the Caribbean and the Americas, whereby we describe ourselves as black people. Not that we're not, but it's a political blackness. Does that make sense? On the African continent, those kids in Ghana described themselves as chocolate. They were accurate, right? So he's probably referring to some white female racist who thought that she had the position power to be able to use the word nigger. Why did she go there? Why go to Kenya in the first place? Ridiculous. But anyway.
But that was surprising. But that was the only time.
Don't get me wrong. We can carry our angst and our gripes as children of the kidnapped people from the Caribbean, from the Americas. We can carry those to the African continent. I get it. In the same way we carry this whole thing of that heightened sense of awareness because of what we've had to endure growing up on whatever project or council estate or in some other dodgy working environment. We carry those angsts with us to the African continent, and it takes a long time. It takes a long time to really change, you know.
Time I've ever heard that word or felt any type of racial issues, here.
Okay.
So, and I love that about living here, because I don't have to feel like a black man. I always tell you I feel human here. Like I don't have to carry the weight.
Interesting. So there are white people in Kenya. A whole heap. Just I'd stop it and show you that. Anyway,
being black, like I'm human here, and that's a beautiful freaking feeling.
Yeah. So let's say somebody's like, oh, you know, Kenya is too expensive. Well, let me ask you this. We've already seen, I'm not gonna ask you because you've already shown where you stay at many times, but some people that aren't worried about a budget, you know, are wondering if Kenya has a large access to luxury lifestyle here.
Oh, freak yeah. You can live better than me here. Like I've seen some of my people's spots here.
Yeah.
Like homes, like joints look better than homes I've seen in the Hamptons and Martha's Vineyard and
absolutely,
Beverly Hills or Hollywood Hills,
Absolutely.
like dope cribs.
Absolutely.
You know, shoot, I used my second house that I stayed in, which was right over there where all that greenery is, which is Spring Valley. That's when I was working for the company Temple that was based out of Lagos. I had a big, beautiful crib with a pool that was huge. It's bigger than that. My personal pool was bigger than that pool over there. And literally from the living room and the kitchen and part of the vestibule area, it was all glass. And you just slide your doors open from any of those spots and take one step and you're in the pool.
Wow.
Like just once the pool went right up against the house. Like the house was that dope and it was on 3 acres of land. Beautiful. Like I was living good. Like it was a beautiful house. Beautiful house. Like there's some dope cribs here.
Wow, I'm going to see some photos there.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I've been looking at some, you know, because obviously I've been reviewing property in Kenya for a long time. I've seen some amazing new build places that are just out of this world. And honestly, I don't know. The quality of properties that I've been looking at, apartments showing on my channel, reviewing on my channel, not only are they cheap, right? Not only are the amenities in these apartment buildings literally out of this world. You're talking about gyms, swimming pools, rooftop terraces like this one, like what they're on. I didn't actually know that. I didn't notice it was actually a rooftop terrace, but it is. You know, creches, all kinds of facilities within these apartment buildings. For the money, I've not seen anything like that in London. I personally have not. And if, you know, I'm not saying it doesn't exist in London. What I'm saying is that I couldn't afford it in London. I suppose really that's what I'm trying to say. Couldn't afford it. No way. Right. So again, do go and check out the other videos on my channel where I'm looking at properties in Kenya, because honestly, that for the money, they will blow your mind. You know, seriously, the way we can live, guys, in Kenya and on the African continent, as long as you've got 2 pennies to rub together, 2 shillings to rub together, right? You can live a lot. Your quality of life will easily be better. You've just got to sort out a financial income, you know, money streams. That's really what it's all about. But the way you can live, wow, quality of life with no racism. Just what that will do for your mental state is really what I'm trying to you know, it's really what I'm getting at here.
That's some nice flicks. And you said these unbelievable parties there.
And I bring that up because some people say like they'll skip Kenya because they don't know about the luxury lifestyle they can live here to go to South Africa.
Right.
But we already said there's a trade-off, and just because you get a cheaper luxury lifestyle doesn't mean it's always better.
South Africa is always because I'd probably say out of any country on the continent, South Africa has always been since the 70s, you know, a spot for African Americans to travel to in Africa. So I think it's been riding off of those residuals of, oh, I'm going to Africa, I'm going to go to South Africa. Because that's that company has had more media and more attention. When I say company, that country has had more media and more attention than any other country on the continent. Yep. So people are just more familiar about it when they think about going to Africa. You know, and then now Ghana, due to the whole year return thing that they've done the last 4 years, has done a great job.
My wife went there during the year of return.
So a lot of people go to Ghana.
The first time, I'm pretty sure.
But to my personal liking, and nothing against any of those other countries, I'll take Kenya any freaking day. Because when you lay out the pros and cons on the scale, all the pros and cons. Yeah, Kenya's got some cons.
Right, okay. Right, listen, I think that's about it with that one. So hopefully you got something out of that. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to remove that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up, let me get rid of that completely. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up another video really, really quickly, and we're going to review that. Again, this is another video, another interview, right, by Austin Holloman of another brother who's only been in Kenya a very short time, right? But he says some things that are really worth listening to as well. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I think it's worth doing, right? So it's this one. Again, this and again, all these videos are on Austin Holloman's channel. I'm saying fair use. Do go and give him a sub. The streams about Kenya, about all the African countries that Austin's been to are brilliant. Really, really worthwhile looking at. The guys he's talking to are not children. You know, these are guys that to me look to be in their very late 30s, 40s, and 50s. These guys are worth talking to because these guys are the ones that are going to Africa with money. They're men of means. They're looking to, if you like, relocate or have already relocated. And this is really what it's all about. And I am basically saying to guys living in the UK, you're just expand your tent. That's what the Bible says. Expand your tent. Expand it. You know, God wants you to, God said, you know, the world is yours and the fullness therein. You do not need to sit and suffer in a racist country. You don't, in your little part of the West. Even if you're doing financially well, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. No, you don't. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to be, you don't have to be a guest or feel like a guest, a male guest in the lineup of Pop the Balloon. You don't have to feel like that. You don't have to feel like that. And let's face it, generally speaking, even if you earn 100,000 British pounds and upwards, which is more than 100,000 USD, right? You still just feel like a man in the lineup on Pop the Balloon. That's the truth. That is the truth. The first point this brother's going to make, right? The first point he's going to make is a point around that. Right? He's not going to say Pop the Balloon. That's me adding it in. But that's the first kind of point he's going to make. It's basically going to be around value, how much value the women place on men in Kenya. And I think he's only been there about a week. But anyway, look, let's get this on. Fair use.
You've been in Nairobi for a little over a week now. Yeah. What would you say drew you initially to come to Nairobi? And yeah, what drew you to come here initially?
The desire to be somewhere where I fit in a little bit.
Wow. So even the first line, why'd you come to Nairobi? I just want to fit in. So he's making a comment basically about not fitting in the States. He sounds like he's got an American accent, but he's making a direct comment to say, I don't fit in. I'm born and brought, and I can relate to what he's saying. I'm born and brought up in the States, and I don't feel like I fit in. I don't feel like I fit in. Why did you, Austin Holloman asks, what made you want to come to Kenya? I just want to fit in. I just want to find somewhere where I fit. Think about it, man. I just want to find, this is a grown-ass man, right? Why do you come to Kenya? I just want to find somewhere where I fit in, where I fit. That is why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this. Seriously, I'm not only doing it for you, I'm doing it for me. I just want to find somewhere where I fit in. It's not about women. It's not even about making money. It's not about anything. I just want to find somewhere where I fit in. Just want to find somewhere where I fit in. That's why I'm here. I just want to find somewhere where I fit in. Bloody hell, that's just honest. This guy's not a kid. Look, he's getting grey. He's getting grey. He's got almost as much grey as me if I was to grow my beard.
I had been in Argentina and I'd been in America for a long time. And I spent some time over in Paris and the Caribbean, all these different places. But I never really felt like I fit in. You know, I would be stared at everywhere I go.
Wow.
Which is, I still get stared at here.
Wow.
But the difference is,
you're definitely going to get stared at in Paris. You're definitely going to get stared at in Argentina, because I know they don't even. I saw a video whereby they hide their black people in Argentina. They hide them. Right? Go and check out videos around the black population of Argentina. I say no more.
One, I sort of look Kenyan, and two, the reason people are staring at me, it's not just people, it's mostly women.
Yeah.
As I walk around, they are bold.
Yes, very bold.
Giving me the eyeballs everywhere I go. And as a matter of fact, I was
they know
in
you look clean.
I was in Village Market last night.
Uh-huh.
And as I walked in the door, I made the mistake of just spending too long looking at a lady who was sitting there at her table, just, you know, to say hello. She was looking at me and I was giving her an eyeball back, just looking at her. And she called me over to the table. You know, I introduced myself to her, said I'm Chris and all this kind of stuff, but I didn't really want any business with her. I was just going about my own business. So I get up and I start walking afterwards, and she hops up out of her chair to follow me around to continue talking to me, trying to get me to come back and all that stuff. Man, I had to turn her down. I was like, girl, go back to your table, you know?
Wow.
And it's just, you know, one of those great experiences of fitting in, well, not fitting in, but for the right reason.
Yes.
I tell you, that's not happening in London. No woman is jumping out of her chair to come and talk to you in London, or I'm assuming not in any Western city. It's just not going to happen. You know that's not going to, not unless she saw you jump out of a Ferrari. And even there, she's not going to, it's just not going to happen. It's not happening.
Yes.
You know, and it's so peaceful here. The weather is
peace. What's the most important thing for you in a marriage or relationship? Peace. A brother said that. I asked the question, or the question got asked on a Zoom call that we were doing years ago with a load of men. I think we had about 80 men on that Zoom call. I heard this brother, and this is a millionaire, a friend of mine, millionaire. He's self-employed, got property, got his own businesses and all the rest of it. What's the most important thing in a marriage relationship? Peace. That's what he said. Peace. Never forget it. Great brother.
is wonderful, and the people have been kind. The men who I hire to do various things are always ready to work. And yeah, the women who tend to be beautiful are interested.
Yeah, I've been all throughout South America. I've been through Eastern Europe, and like some dudes fantasize about being like, oh, the only black guy in the city.
Nope.
It sounds good.
Nope.
But then when you actually live that for a while, you're like, I'm tired of
my friend.
The thought that if I am out with a woman out in Argentina, like somebody might try to speak to her in Spanish, say, oh, like, why are you with a Negro?
Exactly.
You know, because that happens,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so coming here is a peace of mind knowing that.
Yep.
I mean, maybe they might say, why are you with an American? But I haven't heard that, you know.
That's not going to happen.
Who cares if they did say that? But because nationality and race are two completely different things.
Peace.
So you're.
And you see right there, right, that even though they didn't say it, well, they did say it, didn't they? They used the term, both of them used the word peace, right? Feeling that level of, that sense of peace. He used the phrase partly in relation to women, or that particular woman, but that's not really what's being said. What's really being said there is being able to breathe. That's what's really being said. And that's good for your mental health. That is good for your mental health, as well as being desirable by a load of women. But anyway, it's good for your mental health, man. It's good for your mental health to go somewhere and simply feel peace. And to be able to feel that at his age, this brother here, he's got to be, what, I don't know, about 40, 45, right? He looks to me like he's around 40 at least. To go somewhere and having never felt that before, where you were born and brought up, you visiting Paris, as he said, you know, even the Caribbean. He said the Caribbean. Fair enough. He didn't feel peace in the Caribbean. He just didn't feel. Maybe because of how close it is to flipping America, right? And he had to come all the way right back home to the African continent. I mean, obviously, our roots. If you're a child of the enslaved, kidnapped people, our roots more often than not is West African, but you know, he feels at home in Kenya. Felt peace, massive.
You're somebody that saw Casey's video interview I did like this, and then you booked a consultation, and then you booked the place to stay through us. We showed you around. You had a tour guide. You had the safari. Now, that being said, when you booked your consultation, what was your expectations on your experience going to be? Like, what did you think it was going to be like when you got here compared to what you just described?
Man,
listen.
I thought I would show up and maybe there would be. Oh, what's going on over there?
Nah, I thought it was a bug over there.
Oh no. When I showed up, I didn't really have too many expectations. I'm not going to lie. It's because I sort of live off faith, and I move around like the wind. I didn't expect what I got, most certainly.
What was that?
Your social circle, the social circle you helped me develop, has been awesome.
Yeah.
Met a lot of great guys. But then on top of that, just as I move around, my phone is just being populated with this network of men who are interested in getting to know me. Like while I was at the national park just now, there's a guy who owns some land out in Eastern Kenya.
What's really important, right? And I know Kevin Samuels said it as well. And the guy that I was just talking about, who was talking about peace is the most important thing for any man in any relationship. What he taught me was that you see, one of the most important things for a man to have is a network of men, a network of valuable men who can get things done. Really important. A good, proper, solid network of men who are lawyers, doctors, politicians, builders, all tradespeople, a network of connected men. Your network is everything. Your network is more important than anything else you own. Your network of men, of connected, solid, proper, honest, upfront, trustworthy men. Right? That is important. That is probably one of the most important things you can have. That's it. If you've got a solid, rock solid network, right, of connected, trustworthy men who are vouched for, whereby this brother that you meet says, what one of your good long-term friends can say, this is a good fellow. He's a good fellow, to use that euphemism from the film, but it's true. This is meet John. He's a good fellow. Very important, man. Very, very important. So that's what this guy's talking about, right? Austin Holloman got him hooked up, right? Basically brought him into his network. So Austin is being strategic. Very important. Very, very. Your pocketbook, your notebook of contacts, right, is priceless. Priceless, man. Priceless. And do not let just anybody into your network. No, they've got to come. People have to come correct to get access, to get in. Seriously, because your reputation, right, basically stands and falls based on what characters you allow in. This is very important. Very, 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 very important.
Kenya, which I'm traveling to in a couple of weeks. Thanks through a travel agent, which is also the owner of the house that you helped me get.
And, the house you helped me get, I'm assuming rent.
So I'm when I go out there, I'm going to meet with this new guy, Steven, who owns a bunch of land out there and is thinking about building on it. And, perhaps we.
So trustworthy. Listen, you don't want to be buying land from the wrong person. I heard that litigation regarding land is the highest. It clogs up courts on the African continent. So it's good to buy land from trusted sources, man. If you're going to get it surveyed, check you're checking all the right government offices, whether or not the person who's selling you the land owns the land. Do your due diligence. But, if you could do it through a trusted network, then if you could start there, then that's a good thing.
we can work together to do something. Maybe I can invest a little bit in Kenya.
Mm.
And that's just one of the many contacts that I've made as I've been here. There's a lot of business going on in this area. A lot of people trying to develop something, to create something. And I have found that to be inspiring.
That's brilliant. You know, O'Shea, I mean, as a Pan-Africanist, I think you should work with Africans anyway, right? If you can find them, right? You work with people that want to work with you. That's of whatever color, if I'm really honest, right? But if you can find trusted Africans to work with, and I don't believe in working with someone just because they're of African heritage, because they might be untrustworthy. That's the bottom line of it. They've got to be trustworthy. They've got to be good for the group. Basically, they got to bring something, right? But the bottom line is, if you can build that network, you all rise together. You all rise together, man. You rise powerful. That is powerful. And that's what O'Shea Duke Jackson talks about all the time. And I totally believe it. It's just hard to find a proper positive network like that. That's difficult. But anyway, you know, all power to young Austin for looking, it seems like he's looking to build that in Kenya. So more power to him.
And now, and the women, I have not, that has caught me off guard completely.
Yeah.
I just started seeing this young lady who I met at the polo match that I went to with
polo
you.
Polo match.
Which there are so many beautiful women. I was not expecting, just in that one space. I mean, yeah, they're everywhere in Kenya, but this area that you invited me out to, I was shocked by the number of beautiful women just there at that one event, you know, all showing out. And, you know, I'm dating one of them now, who is a model and who isn't entitled.
Wow.
And
isn't entitled. Isn't.
Who is kind.
Kind.
And who wants to be of service. And it's just seems like a wonderful woman. Wow. I'm going to take my time to see if that's good or bad.
Wow.
We'll see.
I want to elaborate on that, but
he's going to wake up and he's going to be back in the States somewhere. he's going to wake up from his lovely dream.
You guys, if you guys want to have that same testimonial that Chris just gave about being able to find a network here in Kenya where you can go to the coast and have opportunities to invest and be invited to, you know, upscale events like the polo games and stuff like that. He's going to see my tailor after this. The only way you can do that, if you want to join my social circle, is to click the link in the description of the first pinned comment and book a consultation, and you'll be able to say things just like what you heard Chris say. Now, you're from the United States. You say you're from Kentucky, right? So you make decent money from what you have been telling me, and you weren't satisfied with the dating scene in the USA, I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so how does the social scene overall, we can focus on dating, but how overall does it differ here when it comes to approaching, when it comes to just, you know, going on a date and not getting gaslit the entire time? Like what are the three big things that you notice were drastically different?
Well, now this is speaking from a guy who's only been here for a week, and I had to spend a lot of that time just getting over the jet lag.
And I think he's going to have to spend a lot more time there. A week isn't really any time, is it? You know what I mean? But you know what? He's having the time of his life, man. So, you know, good for him. Good for him.
As far as approaching goes, women like for you to approach them here.
Okay.
Yes.
And they are friendly when you do it.
Friendly.
Excited about it oftentimes.
Wow.
Whereas in America, when you approach a woman, oftentimes you got to worry about getting clown, getting turned down. They'll just be mean for no reason, or they'll just, you know, they just want to ignore you. Not all. That's you know, that it's unfair to say all. Right, he didn't say all, you know, but I know some woman's going to be watching this. Some woman's going to stumble upon my stream and she's going to go, not all. We're not saying all, just far too many. Right, you know what I mean? And who needs it, man? Who needs it? Who needs it? This is what I'm telling my son. You know what? Before you start dating seriously or doing anything seriously with any woman, travel.
That's basically what I'm saying. I do not want him to experience any rank women. Why? There's no need. Travel, man. Go and see life in another country. Go and see life in another country.
It's just, they're so angry.
It'll make you want to stop talking to women.
Yes.
It'll make you want to stop. Yeah.
But over here,
the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
It's like
in the UK. And I know someone like BGS is going to say in an American accent, stop using the American experience and talk about your own experience. But the truth is, it's the same bloody experience in London, in the UK. It's the same. There's no damn difference. There's no damn difference. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. And this is why, even though a lot of people slag off the Just Pearly Things channel as it was, right? The one thing I did like about it, there's a lot of things I liked about it, but one thing I did like about it, that was the first time that I saw on YouTube or anywhere the attitude of some, not all, women, black women, young black women's attitudes displayed in color so everyone can see it. Everyone could see it. Those black girls there, those black women on that show were all from London. They were all just from London, just London girls, just grow up in Battersea, Stockwell, Clapham, East London, Romford Road, Hackney, flipping, Camden, Chalk Farm, just Brixton. They're just all girls from Brixton, women from Brixton, young women from Brixton. So that is what, and that's what a lot of people didn't quite get. They were being themselves, and so for that one reason, I like that show. She may be slightly racist, but I don't want to get into that. I'm just joking. But anyway, who needs it? Who needs that? Who needs that attitude? And honestly, I don't want my son to have to go through that crap. I'd prefer him just to go to Kenya, right? Or come and visit me and the wife in Kenya, and we'll find him a nice Kenyan church girl, a real church girl, right?
You're a joy to be around. They make you feel like you're a joy to be around.
Mm-hmm.
They appreciate men for who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to dance around this girl's.
Well, they didn't call you toxic, a toxic misogynist.
Games, I'm very straightforward
for who they are. Wow.
I'm a serious-minded man. I'm not here to play around with some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And if I encounter a serious-minded woman, I'll take her seriously. But women in America, typically, they're not serious, and oftentimes they think that they are greater than what they truly are.
Yeah,
as if
greater than what this is. Hey, listen to that again.
Than what they truly are. Women in America, typically, they're not serious, and oftentimes they think that they are greater than what they truly are.
Yeah.
Delusions of grandeur. Correct. They're all tens. They're all tens, bro. Did you not? Do you not know that the women in America are all tens? They're all tens. Every single one is a 10. Every single one is. There are no average women in America. You're the problem, bro. You're the problem. That's why you have to run off to Kenya to go and find you a woman who only wants your money. Oh God, Lord have mercy.
As if since they're able to make money too, they think that their money is important.
Yeah.
But to a guy that makes money, your money is meaningless to me.
Right.
I don't care how much money you make because if you're going to be with me, chances are you're going to be in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you to make money.
Yeah.
I can pay for your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So the chicks over here,
misogynist.
the girl that I'm with, the girl that I'm dating, she's got a whole modeling agency. She makes good money. She travels. She's been doing this for a while. She teaches people. And she was one of the first things she said to me is, "I want to be a housewife."
Wow. The first thing she said, she wants to be a housewife.
And she was one of the first things she said to me is, "I want to be a housewife."
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, she came up with it. I'm like, oh, she wants to be in the kitchen. I'm like, man, okay.
Wow.
So that's expected here, or you think it's still a norm here?
It's expected. Even the maid that I had cleaning my house, it's expected of her, and this kind of surprised me, not only to clean up the house, but then to do my laundry and then iron my laundry and then make sure that it's hung up. And you know, when I brought a girl over, she ended up getting makeup on my sheets and a pillowcase. And
you got an hand on your neck.
Thank you. She got makeup over a nice shirt too. It was like a $200 shirt. She got makeup on the shirt. I just looked at it like, whatever. And the maid was able to get it all out. So, you know, they really take care. They know their jobs and they take care.
So that's quite interesting. So it'd be good to find out. I'm going to do some homework, I suppose, you know, but yeah, no, it'd be good to find out how much, well, the other guy said it, didn't he, in the previous video, you know, but cost, how much a maid cost, all of these different things, and just cost it all up, put it all together. I mean, basically, the quality of life you can afford in Kenya, to be honest, any African country, as long as you come with some money, some assets, some monthly income, right? Passive income, you know, whereby you're making the money while you're sleeping, preferably, you're gonna be all right.
Another thing I've noticed is, so women know their place. Two, they're kind, and
be careful. You can't be saying that in the West. Women know their place. You're just nothing but a misogynist, my friend.
Ready to approach. And three, they're in much better shape.
Yeah.
What?
Women here are in much better shape. American chicks,
you can't
man,
be saying stuff
chunky,
like that.
especially the black girls. You know, they'll be fat and tell you that they got a thick booty or whatever. They're thick. This girl had a waist like this.
Let's pause on that. Oh God. Anyway, you can see he's visualizing that, isn't it? He's visualizing it. But look, he's still surprised. Look at his face. He is still surprised. He's trying to convince Austin. Look, he can't. This guy's been in Kenya 1 week. Look at his face. He's looking at Austin. You'd think he's got the woman in his hands. Bomber Clark. Oh boy,
a six-pack and a booty that lets me know that God is good.
Yeah, I will say that they come. I guess I don't know. They're just something with their genetics where they don't even have to go to the gym. I mean, if she had a six-pack, she's in the gym.
Yeah,
but when they're in the gym, they're unstoppable at that point. So, do you have, not being here for a week in Kenya, could you see yourself staying here for a year at a time?
Yeah.
What makes you think that you could stay here for a prolonged period of time?
We'll do a few more minutes of this and call it a day.
Opportunities, absolutely.
A bunch of opportunity for investment. That's really what I'm here for, trying to build something. I'm thinking about farming and farmland, stuff like that.
All over the African continent, right? There's massive opportunities for farming. It's not really my thing, but I have done a little bit of research into it. There are business opportunities for all types of farming all over the African continent. It's a growth area in every African country. Massive growth area, right? So if that's it's worth. If you're going to watch this stream on a replay, think about farming anywhere in Africa. Could be Ghana, Congo, Zambia, any country, Kenya, but farming is massive. And you obviously buy the land or rent the land, lease the land. And it's that's a massive area. Livestock.
I
heard they grow tobacco here too. Like that's a business here too.
Tobacco, I hear that most Kenyans know how to farm
in Kenya.
Really?
Because look, I'm not actually a sea student school.
Just like Ghana, I think in Ghana, a high percentage of people in Ghana still live on the land, as in live in the countryside. It's only really in Europe and in America where there's high urbanization. But on the African continent, people it's slowly changing, but a lot of people still literally live and work in the countryside. Yeah.
I was a good student, but I call myself a C student in most things because I know how to invest. I know finance and crypto and stuff like that, but I don't really know a lot about anything else. And so I need to hire the A students, and there's a bunch of A students when it comes to growing things, when it comes to building things and networking. And, you know, I just got my Uber driver up here, and he drove me an hour across town. I said, if you wait here, I'll pay you $25 for the rest of the day because I got to go to various places. And he's like, absolutely. And he's ready to change his whole day.
Yeah.
He's an A student. He sees the opportunity and he's ready to serve.
Cheap cost of living. Yeah.
Very cheap cost of living here. And wow. I want to be of more use to these people. It's not like I want to use them.
And again, that brings me on to another thing. He said, and I'm glad he said it, I want to be more use to these people. One of the things, and I know a lot of people have issues with it, especially if we come from the West, we're selfish. We basically have a me, myself, and I attitude. I know we're seen as money bags when we go to non-Western countries, where it could be the Caribbean, it could even be your own family in the Caribbean or your own. I mean, I've got friends that come from Ghana, Nigeria, different various parts of the African continent in the UK. And they don't want to go back home because they don't want to be seen as money bags when they go back to Nigeria, when they go back to Kenya, or when they do go back there, or when friends of mine go to Jamaica or Trinidad or Tobago or wherever, right? They don't even tell family they're going because they don't want their family in whatever country their family come from. They don't want their families to ask them for money, right? But, you know, it's just one of those things, man. To my mind, it's just one of those things. But I love what he said about how can he be of use in Kenya? How can we be, because for me anyway, personally, as a Pan-Africanist, it's part of it is the whole thing of looking to help build wherever I am going in whatever small way I'm gonna do it. Me and the wife are gonna do it. It's the whole thing about looking to add, not take away, not siphon, not suck off, not be like a bloodsucker or a leech. These countries have had enough of that through colonialism, right? So I'm glad this brother has got that kind of a mindset. That's massive. And, you know, people, you get, you know, when you go with that kind of mindset, in my opinion, you get that back. Everything you give in that area done sensibly, right? You get that back. That's just my personal opinion. Done sensibly. That's the key. Yeah. But, you know, that's just my opinion.
I want to be of use to them and help them create something here that's useful. That the problem is they don't have capital. Well, I can take care of the capital if they can help me build.
That's amazing.
What I would say is that you just got to get a good team, right? And let's face it, you go to some of these countries, go to the Caribbean, wherever, getting the right people, finding a team to get a job done, that is always going to be the hard part. When you're doing business, finding a team of reliable workers, that is always going to be the problem.
That's amazing. Wow. So yeah, you're someone that wants to come to Kenya and bring opportunity. So we said that it's a cheap cost of living here in Kenya. Some people are under the perspective that when I say like, oh, this place I'm staying at, I'm paying $850 a month. And I've specified many, many times that is a lease. Yes. Like if you're coming here short term, 1 month, you're not going to get it, especially not in this area. Some people think they can come to Kenya and survive the entire month off of $1,000. Now it's possible. You will be in the house. You will not be eating out. If you're a single man, forget about dating. If you're a married couple, forget about taking your wife out. I mean, because there's even this place that I went to in Village Market. A game of pool was $1.50 an hour or something like that. Super cheap. But I'm on a date. Am I not going to get her something to drink? If she wants something to eat, I'm going to say, oh, no, that's out of my budget because I spent $40. It's not a lot compared to the States where that would have been like $100, you know, but you won't have enough wiggle room. You know,
So he's
so
talking about
if you're
what he's
coming to
talking about with
Kenya,
the other guy.
I would say
in
at
terms
least
of,
have
in
$2,500
terms
a month to spend. That doesn't mean
what kind
that's
of money
all
you've
you
got
will
to
spend, but
travel with,
we're still
or
adults.
be
Just
earning
because you move out of the country doesn't mean
while you're living
you
in
don't get
Kenya.
hurt out of nowhere and you got to pay for a medical bill. Stuff just pops up, you know. And if you don't have enough wiggle room, it's just as important here as it is in the States. So when I say, oh, you can live in Kenya off of $1,000, that literally means survive.
Yeah.
Like that means if you lost your income
outside of Nairobi.
Yeah.
God, what's that? I think $1,000 is probably about what, 750 quid, I think. £800, maybe. I think is it around about 800 quid. I might have that wrong. Don't quote me on that.
To survive outside Nairobi. If you're in Nairobi's a big city, it's like New York,
yeah,
right? It's huge.
Yeah,
I mean, I literally just went across town for an hour. I'm still in Nairobi.
Yeah,
wow. I don't know. I'm assuming London is way bigger than Nairobi, because to be honest, to get from one end of London to the other side of London, if you're not going to go around what we call the M25, if you're going to go directly through the middle, then that is going to take you, even, you know, not in rush hour, that's going to take you about 2 hours. That's 2 hours to drive through, not in rush hour. That's about 2 hours to drive through London, right? If you're going to go around, if you forget about driving through London, if it's rush hour, then you just might as well give up. You're not going to make it. Around the M25, you're talking about maybe an hour and a half around the M25 if it's not rush hour. But driving through London is a complete nightmare. So if you can get so Nairobi must be quite big then. I will check it out.
And so you're not going to, if you're going to be in a metropolitan area, they cost more.
Yes,
that's how it goes.
Yeah, and some people are, listen, guys, $2,500 a month is not a lot. Let's put this in perspective.
Thanks.
You should be making that anyway, because I don't care what city you're in the States. If you make $2,500 a month, you are probably on food stamps. Like that. My rent in Dallas, to take care of the whole apartment was $1,600 a month.
Yeah, it's $15,000 a year.
Yeah, and in the States you need a car. Like so some people were in my comments like, "Oh, you got to make at least 24,000." Yeah, that's nothing. You know, that for an American, that's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he just said in the States you need a car. I suppose that depends on where in the States. And in New York, I don't think you need a car in New York, I don't think you need a car in DC, Washington DC. They've got decent public transport. They've got an underground, you guys call it a subway system in DC. My brother used to live in DC, so I traveled on it quite a bit. But in London, you don't need a car in London. You don't need a car in London. It's nice to have a car in London, but you do not need a car in London. In Accra, do you need a car? I don't think you need it. Uber is cheap in Accra. In Kenya, I know they've got Uber as well. I would be surprised if you need a car in Nairobi or Mombasa. I think you've just got cabs and what do you call it? Uber. Yeah, but I mean, only if you live out in the middle of nowhere in Kenya are you going to need a car, in my opinion.
People can say like you can live like the locals. The locals live off $1,000 or less than that a month. Yeah, they grew up here. They're used to something different. Yes. If you come to another country, most people, I think all people, are going to another country to improve their life. That could be lower the cost of living, which is improving your life. That could be bettering your dating options, improving your social circle, going somewhere where it's cheaper to invest. Like here, you can buy a place for 30 grand here, versus in the States. Yeah, you're not getting nowhere for 30 grand. Whatever you're doing, you're looking.
And that is the truth. I've seen a whole heap of property, right, in Nairobi that you can buy for 30,000 USD, 30,000 USD. And you're talking about it's not the best place, but it's a place where you can exist. You can, it's okay. 30,000, man, 30,000, which is what? That's about £25,000, right? That's okay. And that's if that's in Nairobi, right? And the place is all right. It's not terrible. It's actually okay. It's good. It's good, So if you can do that, and if you're not there, put it on Airbnb. Make money while you're not there. Seriously.
Looking to improve your life. So all I'm saying, you guys, is you're not $1,000 a month means that if you lose your income in Nairobi, you can go hermit mode and you wouldn't be starving, but yeah, you're not doing anything.
Yeah, there are people here who, over in the slums, you can live off $1 a month, like because they will negotiate for food. So they're you can have absolutely no money and still manage to live. But what kind of lifestyle do you
don't
want
want to do that.
You know, and there's a lifestyle for all income brackets. Of course, like anywhere else, the better off you're doing, the better off you'll be, the more comfortable.
And that's the whole thing about preparing before you go, making sure that you've got passive streams of income before you head anywhere, and doing your homework, doing all that sort of stuff. But so by the time you put foot on ground, right, you've got your income sorted out, you know what you're going to be doing, you know where you're going to be living, you know how much it's going to cost, you've organized where you're going to be staying way before you've come anyway, all of that stuff. You want to have, in my opinion, you want to have all of your money sorted out way before you come. And to be quite honest with you, in my opinion, you want to have your passive streams of income should be enough for you to live on. Does that make it? That's just my personal opinion. And so when you're there, you're looking to start business. You're looking to start business and add value to the to the people to the country. That's just my personal opinion. That's my take on it anyway. I don't think you're going there looking for a job, not unless, I don't know, you're some sort of teacher. You can work in an international school maybe, but really it's about setting up business. It's about employing people and setting something up.
I find it, I'm not rich by any means whatsoever, but I make a decent income, and I'm able to move around in perfect comfort. Everywhere I go. When I want to go out to eat, I can go out to eat. If I want to travel to Eastern Kenya, which I'm going to be doing at the end of this month, I can do that. I can go to various places and have a good time. The prices are...
Just going to read some comments. Mandrel, you write, you still have to pay for public transportation in major metropolitan cities. I'm assuming you're talking about in the US. You also write, after rent, utilities and transportation, 2,500 USD per month is not enough for a city like New York. Absolutely not. It's not enough for a city like London. It's not enough. No major city, I don't think, in the Western Hemisphere. It's not. Do you know what I mean? Which is why, that's what makes Nairobi, Accra, to a lesser extent. Accra is a little bit more expensive, but that's what makes that's what makes the African continent attractive. That's what makes it attractive. Seriously.
All reasonable. Some of them are unreasonable to the downside. Like you can hire people for very low cost. Yeah, because I'm just used to American prices. So if I'm expecting to have a driver, I'm expecting to pay a good amount of money.
Yeah,
but just because, here's the thing, right? We're used to Western prices, but we, in my opinion, have to quickly adapt to to the new environment. Otherwise, we're going to be giving American tips. People are going to be expecting you to pay American prices in Kenya. Nah, forget that. No, we get used to paying what people locally pay, right? And barter. I love bartering. I will stand there all day and haggle. I don't know. I just find it fun. Personally, I find it fun. I just find it fun. I enjoy it.
Over here, no.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people here who make $250 a month.
Yeah.
So if you can give them 10% of that in a day,
that's a blessing.
Yeah.
That's a huge blessing. Yeah. So for somebody else that's in your situation, a single American man that makes good money, well put together.
Listen.
Say, he's well off like yourself. What would you say to them if they're watching this, but they're hesitant to come visit Kenya? What would be your advice to them?
Listen.
There is no reward without risk. You need to get outside your comfort zone.
That's right.
The world is huge. Yeah. There are so many beautiful things to be done inside of it. And if you're hurting where you are, you can't be healed in the same place that you're hurt.
Yep.
Word.
Did you hear that? If you're hurting where you are, you can't be healed there. You can't. There is, wherever you're hurting, wherever country, if you're in the States or in the UK or in any other European city, if you're hurting there, you cannot be healed there. It's not possible, because you've got to take the knife out your back. You've got to take the stick out your back. as George Clinton once said, George Clinton on Little Old Country Boy song, you know, take the stick out my back and let me go. No, you can't be healed in the place and space where you're experiencing hurt, man. It's not possible.
Somewhere else to be. You
Yep.
know, here is a good option.
Play it again.
If you're hurting where you are, you can't be healed in the same place that you're hurting.
Nope.
Find somewhere else to be.
Yep.
You know, here is a good option. The weather is wonderful. The women are wonderful. The men are wonderful. Yes, there's a wonderful possibility. Your social circle has been very useful to me, and some of the events here there's a lot of fun to be had.
Yep.
You know, things can be a little scary when you're outside your circle, but I mean, when you're outside your comfort zone. But that's how you expand as a person. Right. That's how you expand your spirit. You expand your mind by going to new places.
Yep.
Once you do it, the fear subsides, and then your comfort zone is larger.
Yep.
It's worth it.
Yep.
And there's a lot of other men, like you spoke about with social circle. There's a lot of other men that were in that same position, like myself. Let's say somebody like Bobby, somebody like James, you know, that are out here as well. And they're in the same boat and they're enjoying themselves. So if you guys are interested in coming to Nairobi and you guys want to have a similar experience again, and you guys want to be plugged in with the right people so you can invest, so you can have a good time, so you can meet beautiful women, so you can know where to hang out at, where to eat, everything. Click the link in the description, the first pinned comment. I'm your guy with boots on the ground. I'll make sure you enjoy yourself. So any final words for the people watching?
Nairobi's a wonderful place to be. Come on out, enjoy your life, try something new, get out of the rut. All right, start driving on a new road. That's it.
It's a big world out there. Yeah. Like I said, you guys hit the link in the first pinned comment.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. So, guys, you know, listen, what this stream's been all about, and do go and sub Austin's channel. And another one of his friends called Kid Greatness. That's a great name, right? That's another one of his crew, right? But, you know, check his channel out, right? He's got some great videos there about Kenya and about a load of other countries as well. Some brilliant interviews, well worth a look. And it's inspirational, honestly. I mean, this guy's only 25 years old. Honestly, what was I doing when I was 25? I think I was in the recording studio. No, I was in a band. We were trying to get a record deal and all that sort of stuff. We was in recording studios. We were building our own recording studio. I was working as a sound engineer. That's my background. That's what I was doing when I was 25 years old. But honestly, and I'd visited a few countries, but God, what is it? I visited Europe, and I'd already visited Egypt. But honestly, I really wish that I had a different mindset when I was 25. All things in their time, I totally agree with that. But anyway, you know, do go over there and sub Austin's channel. Mandrill, thanks for joining us. Raymond, thanks for joining us. Do join us again. And glad for your comment, Raymond. Raymond writes, good show, bro. You've opened my eyes to possibilities. And that's what it's all about. It's this is 100% only about opening not just your eyes, my eyes as well, to the possibilities as to what's available for us as Black men globally on planet Earth. It's not, we don't have to just sit there, right, and grow old and have our psyches and our mental states played with in our little corner of the West. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do it. And if you look at my channel, I started out by making videos about modern independent feminists, but I just thought there's no solution in that. No, I want solutions, not just for myself, but for you guys. And for my son. My son's 18. I want solutions. I want solutions for my life, my son's life. And I thought, you know what? Let's go on a journey, man. Let's go on a journey together as men, as Black men in general, but Black men in particular. Let's go on that journey. Let's go out and find a life. Let's go and find a life. Go and find peace of mind, man. We don't have to sit here watching ourselves, our sons and our friends grow up and become mentally ill. Don't have to do it. Don't have to do it and take bad attitudes from certain others, right? Whereby they're all 10s. We don't have to do it. Or go to work and be treated like mud, right? You know. So anyway, guys, it's been great. It's been good. We are at about 1 hour 40. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to be streaming hopefully around about Tuesday. All right. So I'm not sure what we're going to stream about. We may stick on Kenya, but we might move to another country. I might do something on Zambia in preparation for Saturday's stream, whereby I'm going to have a guest. All right. So guys, take it easy. It is quite late here in the UK, so yeah, do hit the sub and the bell if you're new here, if you're watching this on the replay, and join us around about Tuesday. It's going to be around about 8 o'clock. All right, so guys, take it easy. Thanks for joining us, and I am out. Take it easy.